What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. What are you fucking doing? Are you stupid? Come on. Hey. Oh, fuck. Yeah. I know. That's it. So, like, what are we doing, huh? Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Edward Albee, or Albee. I used to have an antique shop and he came in. It's a whole little story deal that I'm going to, like, relay. You know, this is just kind of like a warm-up. You know, I did see Elizabeth Taylor when she came to Shenandoah Valley at the college, you know. The reason you tuned in is my time with Edward Albee. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you some background information, like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? So it sort of like makes sense to give you a context. Okay, mid-80s, Shenandoah Valley, Blue Ridge Mountains, you know, small antique shop. No, what the thing was, it had snowed the night before. It had snowed the night before, and this chick that I knew had a ballet studio, and she couldn't get her sob started or something like that. And her husband, he had a business too. His business was like carvings. They had a store, the Galleria, and they had all these really, what would you say, magnificent wood carvings from Colombia, you know. So I asked him, I said, hey man, you ever think about putting anything in them, you know, like, you know, and he's like, no. But in actuality, that's what they were doing. Okay, and you know, it gets all convoluted. I wasn't involved with any of these things, but whatever. He goes away, you know, he's first in, then he's in like Miami, and from Miami, he called like 3 times during the night, and I'm talking to his wife because it snowed out, and we just kind of like spent the night having him calling in from different cities, and just waiting there, you know. And each time I remember when he called, he was farther away, and I felt better about it, you know. So spent that kind of like, it was a lot of talking, and you know, it was a weird night. So it still snowed, but I went to the town to open my antique shop, you know, and this guy came in. Sort of a, you know, corduroy pants, maybe corduroy jacket, gold chain, but not flashy, but, you know, it was real. I started talking to him, and he said, I'm Edward Albee. I'm going to do like a talk here in this like place at the college, you know. You ought to stop on by. And I think, oh well, shit. This is just some academic trying to roust up like a crowd to come to his like fucking thing here, you know, which is not much. I wasn't that impressed. I had these big bottles. These bottles were like liquor decanters, but they were perfume bottles. What kind? It was a clear bottle with a black glass stopper. Chanel number 5. Yeah. So he was kind of interested in them, but he wasn't quite interested enough to come off the Bucks and anything like that. We kind of talked a little bit, you know, And that's nice, you know, but I'm still kind of like, yeah. So a day or two later, he comes in again. And it's like, hey man, you got to catch my thing here, you know, it's going to be great. And at that same time, they had these two guys that were from like California, and they were wine vineyard experts, you know, with the high top rubber, you know, they just had California written all over them, you know, so they were there. And the one said, well, that was Everett Albee, or Albee. And he seemed like he was really impressed about it, you know, because I didn't have a clue about the thing. So he came back and asked me again to go to his thing, so I figured that then with these California wine guys, so I go, and it's this hall, and they don't have a lot of people, but you got the English major types and so, and it's, a lot of people were dressed up, and it was an event. So I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of something, you know. And roles like that, they introduce him, they tell you about all the awards he'd gotten and everything like that, and how influential and et cetera, et cetera. So by then I'm kind of like, well, he's pretty up there in the writing of stage shows and movies and literary figure, you know. So he gives his talk, and it was a nice talk, and he said how you could get in touch with him because his number was in the phone book, New York phone book, but since they don't have phone books anymore now, and he is deceased, so whatever. But that was kind of neat. And so he was kind of like, he came off the stage and I talked to him a little bit like, what did you think? See, you know, it seemed like he was sort of trying to impress me a little bit, you know. And then he invited me out to the Sheridan, you know, at the bar. And I thought for a drink, and it'd been okay, but I just declined. But I've been educated a little bit, you know. Talk to you